And we welcome you back live here in Bristol. 28-year-old Brad Keselowski. And Brad is brash, a guy who ultra-aggressive driver who also has a chip on his shoulder, Michael Waltrip. But I mean that in a good way. It helps him race aggressively and stand up to the greats in the sport.
There is a guy upstairs that won 12 of these babies with a chip on his shoulder. Kyle Busch very successful, and Kurt both here. So you have to have an attitude to come to Bristol. But winning here doesn't get any better than that.
And we've had the fourth different, referring of course to RDW, Jaws back in the day there, but fourth different race team that has won this year over the first three races. Of course at Daytona with Matt Kenseth, who finished second today, was the Roush Fenway Fords, and then Joe Gibbs Racing with Denny Hamlin, Tony Stewart with Stewart-Haas Racing, and then today Roger Penske, as Mike Joy pointed out, Brad Keselowski pulling into victory lane in the Blue Deuce. As for Matt Kenseth and the 17 car, let's check in on the second place finisher with Matt Yoakum.
A chess match back and forth between the 17 and 2 cars. The final third of the race. Was the final restart the lane choice the deciding factor, Matty?
It's pretty physical chess there, Matt. Yes and no. I mean, if I would have been on the top, maybe I could have pinned him down there, but on old tires, I knew he was going to choose the top. So he could really roll the bottom in 1 and 2 really good, and I'm surprised I couldn't capitalize on that and get around him. But that last run, we just started a little too loose. Then we got out in the lead, and then plus we got some tape we picked up on and got on the brake ducts, and I was just, I was too free. I held him on the bottom, hoping he was going to burn his tires off in that second to last restart as long as I could, and I was finally going to crash, and he slipped by me, and I could keep up, but that was about it.
Impressive start to the season continues for Kenseth. Chris?
231 laps led for Brad Keselowski, a career high in victory lane with our Chris Devoda.
As he climbs from his race car, celebrating with his crew, took time to tweet a picture of victory lane and the celebration. So last year when Brad Keselowski won here in the fall, they said he manipulated the timing line. So they made a new rule. What rule will they have to make to keep you out of victory lane the next time?
I don't know. This car, as strong as it was, Krista, I'm sure there's a rule that could be made, but you know, I got on Twitter and got kind of PO'd at some people that said I won it because of the timing line. I knew this Blue Deuce was fast enough to win the race last fall, with or without timing lines, and it feels so good to just prove it here today in the spring race. This car here, brand new car that Penske Racing built. Everybody back in the shop did a phenomenal job. Last few races have been really good, and I knew we had a shot at winning one if we ran like we were, and today we closed the deal. You know, Matt didn't make it easy, but
you had him stalking you, and you chose the outside of that restart.
I know, man. Well, that's his job to not make it easy on me, and he did a good job and raced me hard, and I raced him hard. We rubbed a little bit, but that's good racing, and I don't know how anyone can say Bristol racing ain't as good as it was. I think they might be right because it's better than it's ever been. This is one of the best races I think I've ever been a part of and ever seen from behind the seat. So just thrilled to death to be here in victory lane at Bristol again. One of my favorite places for sure, and if this team keeps performing like they are, we'll get more.
He's making a case for the new king of Bristol. Dick?
With Brian Vickers, and an absolutely incredible run. You bring it home in 5th position without a dent in the car. How badly did you need this run as you're looking for more employment?
Well, when it's your only one, you better make it count, right? But I can't take any of the credit. I mean, wow, the guys, I mean, you can tell, yeah, just proud to be a part of MWR, getting 3 cars in the top 5. You know, I can't thank, you know, Michael and Rob and everyone at MWR for giving the opportunity. Obviously, Aaron's and Toyota. You know, what an exciting day. Rodney showed us bolted together my first go-kart 20 years ago. And then he handed it off to my father and a guy named Corey Smith to finish it off. And then he just put together my last one, and what a heck of a job. Called a great race. Everyone did good. New spotter, he did a great job as well.
Congratulations to you. Chris?
Thanks, Dick and Brian, and owner Michael Waltrip, who we just mentioned, taking a chance. 5 more races for Brian Vickers and maybe a few more.
Well, you never know. There's a couple road courses left on the schedule, and Brian certainly proved today that he's got his brain into what he's doing. It feels so good just to see a story like this develop. He got kicked out of his ride. He got kicked out of NASCAR. He wanted in so bad. Not only did he get back in, he came in with the attitude of, thank you, I want to go do good for you, and certainly did that today.
Sometimes you don't miss something until it's taken away. But back to Brad Keselowski on Twitter. And we remember Daytona primetime on Fox when he added 100 or a couple 100,000 to his account. Remember, he was fined by NASCAR for criticizing the fuel injection system of NASCAR at one point. So Twitter is part of his game, but he pulled into victory lane, held on back-to-back here at Bristol.
Yeah, there's 14th time in the history of this place that guys have gone back-to-back. So you get hot here, you can stay hot for a little while.
And Michael Waltrip Racing hot today, as you see Brad Keselowski on the phone celebrating. Let's check in with Matt Yoakum.
Martin Truex Jr. scored his first nationwide win right here in Thunder Valley. You almost picked up your first Cup win in Thunder Valley. How would you describe today, Martin?
Well, it was a great day for us, for Napa Toyota, for everybody on our team. Obviously a great day for MWR. Just so proud of Michael and Rob and everything they put into this team to get us to where we are, and proud of Chad. His call at the end, he called to stay out and stuck to his guns, never second-guessed himself, and he's really coming into his own as a crew chief. So proud of him and the team. Proud of everybody at MWR for what they've given us. TRD for all their help, and we've come a long way. And the last 10 or 15 races, we've had a really consistent, really good race team. We've got a lot of confidence, and for us, it was a good day. We were up and down. We were off in the middle part of the race, but we kept digging, worked hard on it, got back up into I think 5th or 6th, 7th right there before that last caution, then stayed out, and that was a call of the race. So just want to thank Chad, thank everybody on the Napa team, on the Napa car, and see what happens to go to California and try to get in victory lane. We're getting close.
Solid third for Truex.
Those Michael Waltrip, but Toyota's running hot. You were twisting and turning with those pit calls as well, wondering as an owner here, what do we do? How do we play it?
Well, I felt so bad for Brad and Matt. 1-2, you know that if those guys pit, everyone else stays out. They elected to stay out. Darrell was right. Track position has been king here at Bristol lately. We saw the preliminary race yesterday won with track position, so maybe that was the right call, but it's really cool to see people make a decision and say, that's it. Go race your car, boy.
All right, our final thoughts from Larry and Mike and Darrell. And how about what Brad said, Mike, that Bristol's different. It's better than ever, at least for him at victory lane.
Boy, he likes it. The drivers like this configuration, and I think the next time Brad says this is the best car I've ever had here, more people will pay attention. But of the usual suspects, 3 of our 3 5-time winners here all ended up in the fence at one time or another during the day. Tony Stewart had a problem, rebounded, recovered, got back up in the lead lap, got turned around. It's Bristol, baby.
It is. And it didn't disappoint me.
No.
I tell you, those long green flag runs and what it takes to stay up on the wheel and focus and run around here at 16 seconds, that takes a man. This is a man's racetrack. You better have your work clothes on when you come here. And these guys today, they impressed me. Ryan Vickers hadn't been in a car in almost a year. Up on the wheel all day long is a top 5 finish, and then Keselowski, just a wonderful job on his part. So I love Bristol. I like it any way they want to paint it. It's still Bristol.
And with them, Boyer, Truex, Burton, I mean, a lot of great stories all throughout the top 10, Larry. A story of perseverance, making the right adjustments, and just driving the wheels off the car.
Well, and we talked about it at the top of the show, that this would be an ever-changing racetrack, that we started on a racetrack, all the rubber had been washed off, and we dealt with a track. Was out, the sun was in. A race that only had 5 cautions, but going back to your point as well, who would ever believe in the first caution? We would have the big one and take out a lot of players that we felt like were going to be contenders, like Carl Edwards, like Casey Kane, like Kyle Busch. The big one took a bunch of them out in the very beginning.
Yeah, very early on. And the great thing about short track racing, Chris, is in just 2 weeks, we get to do it again.
To Martinsville after we go to California and Fontana, as Michael and I check the unofficial results. And you see Jeff Burton, a good run for Richard Childress Racing, finishing up there at 6th. Jimmy Johnson, we talked about that wreck they did moments ago early in lap 24. Jimmy Johnson got through that along with Brad Keselowski to be able to have successful finishes.
Yeah, we saw Tony Stewart get in the wall. He finishes 14th. Dale Jr. back in 15th. 30 might have a flat at the end of the race. Denny Hamlin, he's got to be scratching his head a little bit. Off to such a fast start this year. Last couple of weeks, it's been a challenge.
For Regan Smith in the 78 car, winds up 24th. He was kind of caught up in that Casey Kane 6-car wreck that we referred to. And Jeff Gordon had a car that he thought he could win with, and I know you thought at the start of the race, but the incident with Dale Earnhardt Jr. Took him out, and he was frustrated.
You never know what can happen on these short tracks. Jeff Gordon, Carl Edwards, Kyle Busch, all in the same crash. That was huge early in this race.
Junior did lead a couple of laps. Keselowski celebrating at victory lane. Let's check in with Junior and our Steve Burns.
Well, Dale Jr., once you guys got some track position, you're pretty much a top 5 race car all day. Yeah, we were fast all weekend. Real happy with the way the National Guard, Mountain Dew Chevrolet, we ran all day. We sped on that last stop, I guess. I come down the back straightaway, and I had green lights all the way down. And I had 2 red lights on the front straightaway. And I was told I was speeding on the back, but if anywhere, I was speeding on the front. So I don't know. This place is probably hard to tell exactly what's happening. I don't really trust some timing lines too much, but if they say so, I guess we were speeding. Difficult way to give up a good finish, and we ran hard, worked hard all day, and I hate what happened to Jeff. We were racing really hard, and it was fun, and this is one of the places. If there's a track where you can lean on each other a little bit, this ought to be the place. But we just barely rubbed down the back straightaway, and
I heard you say I didn't get into it much.
Well, if you showed it on TV, I'm sure some people might have thought that was a hard hit, but that to me it was good hard racing. And the pipes on my car cut the left rear tire down, and I feel terrible about that happening to my teammate. Those guys worked really hard, and they were running good and happy with their car, I'm sure. But you put, there's 4 of us out there. We're bound to race each other and run into each other every once in a while. But otherwise, just frustrated about the finish. But we did run good. We run better than we run here last year. We run really good pretty much everywhere except for Phoenix. And things are looking up for our team.
Thank you, Dale.
Thank you.
Thanks, Junior. And Steve, well, these are 2 guys you talk about, successful drivers who've been around like Jeff Gordon, Dale Earnhardt Jr., and these are the best at what they do. Is that just, the good hard racing? Where's the line on that, especially between teammates?
Well, the line wasn't crossed here at Bristol. They just bumped. It just was unfortunate that the pipes cut Jeff's tire and boom, he went into the wall. I agree with Junior on that one. What I don't agree with him is those timing lines are computers. I think they're pretty close to being accurate. So if you're speeding, you're speeding. It's pretty black and white.
Don't argue with the machine.
That's
the
right.
Computer ultimately wins. Let's check back in with Steve Burns, who's with Jimmy Johnson.
Well, Jimmy Johnson, sun in and out today. A lot of teams really chasing the racetrack. How was your afternoon?
It wasn't too bad. We had a tough qualifying effort and tough practice, but we had a competitive car. I think a top 5 car. I don't think we had anything for the win, but we got stuck on the inside lane there in the 16. Had some trouble getting going, and we lost a few spots. Otherwise, I think we would have been right there around 5th or 6th. So not a bad day. Great day on pit road. Improved a ton over the weekend. Had a competitive race car today, and we'll go on with it with this, 9th place finish.
See you in Fontana.
Yeah, buddy. Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Californian Jimmy Johnson, as we check the standings. 4 different winners after 4 races. And, of course, Jimmy will find out on Tuesday whether his crew chief is going to be with him. Chad Knaus for the next 6 races suspended, or those points will be docked. 23rd coming in. He would have been 13th without that, but we'll check that as we see Greg Biffle, who led early on the pole and remains your points leader.
Yeah, I would say test passed by Biffle. He had a solid day, kept his point lead. Denny Hamlin had the point lead for a week, couldn't hold on to it. Now Biffle's got it.
We'll take a look ahead at next week in the Auto Club 400 from Fontana, California. More live coverage from the win by Brad Keselowski here in Bristol on Fox.